What's up everybody, I'm here with Sew Yeah Quilting. Now, we are in our new building, building out a new film room slash studio, and this is my current ironing board. It's an amazing ironing board for small spaces and for classes. However, it's time to upgrade. So, I'm going to teach you how to build this double-sided ironing board that is washable. Let's get started. So guys, we are here at Home Depot and we kind of lucked out here. They have pre-cut plywood that's 2 feet wide by 4 feet long, which is exactly what I need for my setup. However, you can get any of the sheets of plywood here and they will work. And that machine right behind us, you just ask a worker to help you and they'll cut it to whatever size you like. So I lucked out and we got a pre-made one, but that's really easy. So guys, all that we picked up was a sheet of plywood, and again, it can be any shape or size that you decide. Then I also grabbed a staple gun. Now, it all depends on how the project goes if you need the staple gun, but it's just nice to have one on hand. Now, the next step here is I need a piece of batting to go over the top of this. And what I personally like to do is I like to go all the way around this and I like to put 2 layers on it. The reason being is since this is a natural material, it's wood, if it gets wet, sometimes it can stain the first layer of batting, but it normally doesn't get through the second layer. So I just double batting my stuff. Then I'm also gonna pick up some fabric. Since this is 2 feet by 4 feet long, I'm gonna need about 1.25 yards of 2 different prints for the one that I'm making. So let's go pick those up. I just happen to have a couple rolls of batting here. It doesn't matter which color you use, just make sure it's 100% cotton, that's what you want. I'm gonna grab a 96 wide or a 90 wide, warm and natural. It's one of the cheapest out there. So I'm gonna pull this out, let's go get it cut. So now as far as the fabrics go, if you wanna make a fun ironing board, pick out some fun prints. If you wanna make just an easy basic one right over here. If you just want to make an easy basic one, you have all the basics options. And if you want to just be, 100% plain here, you can just pick out some black batting or some white batting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a charcoal, and I'm probably going to go with a black, probably. So let's just see what's there. That's not bad right there. It's not a bad color. I mean, right next to it just happens to be one that's not bad either. They're pretty neutral. You have to realize that I'm doing this for a film studio, so my palette has to stay pretty neutral. If not, if I was gonna pick for myself, look. This one would be really cool on it. It's like a paint splatter. That's a cool one. I think that would just make a cool one. Any of these grains in here, that would make it cool. I mean, you could make a really cool ironing board, but I'm keeping it pretty simple just for the sake of film. So, just got back. I act like the quilt store so far away, it's right behind that wall. But I picked up some batting. I got about 2 yards, 1.5 yards of 2 different colors there. And again, you can make this a lot more fun colors if you like to. And then a little bit of Velcro, you just gotta have that. So what we're going to do with this batting is I'm going to measure my board here, and I know it's 2 feet by 4 feet. And I'm going to give it an extra inch, 1.5 inches, because I want to put either a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm thinking I'm going to just end up with a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to measure out about an extra inch, and I'm going to cut that out of my batting here. Now, what you have to realize that is it has to cover the entirety of this board. So in reality, I need a 4 foot by 4 foot piece of batting plus an inch on both sides. So if we're able to use this folded edge, it just saves me 1 seam. So I'm gonna lay this down just like so. I'm putting it right on top of my board so I have a really good reference point. So, pair of scissors. I'm gonna run it right down the side of this board. Perfect. We're gonna take it right on over to the sewing machine, and I'm gonna give it a very small stitch here, and really this is only to hold everything together. So, small stitch here, probably 1/4 inch on both sides, and we'll be fine. Exact same thing on the other side. And none of this is finished work yet, so you're good if it's a little bit wonky. We got our little sleeve here. It's time to flip it right side out. This could be a child's sleeping bag. How big it is, right? One thing that you need to do, and this is just it's not a requirement, but I would definitely say you want to try this. Once you have this all out and about how you need it, take your board, take it outside or something, and kind of drop it on the edges a little bit. It'll get rid of the sharp edge here, makes it easier to slide into the into the pillowcase. So, got my pillowcase. It is time to slide this guy inside, just like a pillow. There we go. Try to keep it as straight with your seams there, because you gotta remember the seam's probably the strongest point of the batting now, because batting is a little bit, it tears, okay, batting tears. So we wanna just make sure we get this on nice and easy, just like that. Now, as far as this goes, there's a little bit extra here, that's okay. That is definitely okay, the little extra, because we're gonna pull it all out of it here in just 1 second. But how we're going to do this is we're simply going to take this, we're gonna fold it over like this. And you're really gonna wanna yard and kind of pull on this real tight. Real tight here. And we're really focusing more on the back side of here, getting that as taut as possible. Grab your staple gun, put it right here on the edge. Ooh. And put a staple in, just like that. And putting a staple every 4 or 5 inches, not anything crazy. This side too, pull it tight, pull it tight. And we're going to put one in the side of here. Don't shoot the table, that's a big one. And we shouldn't have to tell you guys that, but it happens. Okay, now we're gonna do the exact opposite, as in we're gonna flip it this direction. You see how smooth that is? Came out to be really smooth. So now we're gonna do the exact opposite. We're gonna pull this side over now, pulling it over, because we're stretching the back side while we're doing this. And you're gonna throw a staple in just like before. Just like that. Now, you'll see that we've pulled out pretty much all of the extra here. It makes a really nice covered ironing board. Now, we're going to repeat this exact same process again, because I want this to be double layered. The reason why I want double layered on this is because wood naturally has sap, it has a finish on it, whatever it may be, and when you add water and steam to that, it likes to bring some of that up. So by putting a second layer on top of it, it'll make sure my ironing board stays cleaner longer, and if there's any stains or anything like that that happen just from the wood, it won't get onto my top fabric. So let's just repeat this whole thing. I'm gonna trim up this edge just a little bit, not much, just a little bit. And the reason why I'm repeating it now that I have my batting on top of it is because it's grown about 1/4 inch wider there. So I'm gonna just lay this down, give myself about the same spacing all the way down. Now, the big difference here that you're going to change is that we're going to put the top at this part here that has the staples on it. That will hide this edge up real nice and clean, and then it'll give it a little pressure once we hook on the other side here. So, and it should be a lot easier the second time because the wood is now already cased up. See, a lot easier the second time. I'm going to start with the bottom, pull it up, and there's no staples on this side, so you don't have to watch out for anything. Okay, here, and one more right here, just for safety. Flip the whole thing around, and then do the exact same thing, other direction. Okay, so now that we have this, you can see it's coming out to be super flat and easy. Just an easy project here. Now we're going to cut off this edge, same exact way that I did it the last time, leaving a little bit extra there. And if you find here that anything's like poking out or sticking out, or it's not quite pulled how you like it, you're more than welcome to pull it down, put a staple in it. We're done with batting, which is great. It's time to pull all our scraps away. What I'm going to do, since I have my 2 colors here, I need to add a 1/2 inch to my numbers here. So I need to cut this at 25 inches because it's 24 inches wide, and then I need to cut it at 49 inches long. So I've got the fabric to do that. Let's just go ahead and do that. Full cut just means I'm cutting it along the fold here. That way I can keep this piece. This is just my extra piece. And then when I open this up, it should be 25 inches wide. Which hopefully I did that right. And I did. So that's 25 inches wide. Now let's work on the length here, which I said I needed 48 inches, I believe. I need this to be 49-ish inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 51 inches or 52 inches. That way I can sew it all together, do a test fit, and I also want to put a little Velcro strip at the end, and that will give me plenty of fabric for that. So I'm going to just cut this like so. So that's my first piece of fabric. Then I'm going to repeat the same thing to this piece of fabric here. Again, this will have a little extra piece of fabric there. Open this guy up. I'm going to cut my final pieces here. Now I've only had a bigger ironing board to iron my pieces of fabric here, because I had to iron these out to get the crease out of the center of these. With this guy today, which is a great mat, but again, this is the whole point, is we're trying to make it just a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer. And really guys, I'm only ironing this line a little bit. It's not gonna change the look of your ironing board once it's on. It doesn't need to be completely ironed. I just don't want that line to interfere with what I'm doing. I'm gonna do it on the other color. We're going to sew both of these pieces together, right sides together. They're solid, so it doesn't actually matter. But I'm going to sew the top and both sides, leaving the bottom open. And I'm probably going to stop sewing maybe, because I know I have extra there, I'm going to stop maybe an inch below or an inch sooner than the end of my fabric here, because I want to put in that Velcro at the end. So let's grab these guys. If they got a little batting on them, it's fine. It's okay. Right sides together. Now guys, if you don't feel confident about your measurements, cut big, because you can always cut it down and re-sew it, but you can't uncut. So that's what I've done here. If it fits perfectly, then great, but if I've erred by a quarter of an inch or something, then I can just cut it down and re-sew. Bottom's open. We're gonna do a dry fit here. That way we know that it fits. It's gonna be tight on mine, I know that for sure. I mean, come on. That looks like an ironing board now. Everyone's seeing it. You're seeing the vision. And then don't do this side, it's got a spot on it. I'll flip it over for you. There we go, everyone's seeing the vision now. It's nice. What we need to do next is, what I want to put in here, and I've got extra here guys, right? There's a flap here. I'm gonna cut off of here maybe, call it 2 inches. So there's only 2 inches remaining here. Then from there, I'm gonna add a piece of Velcro onto one side, and I'm gonna just start making markings based off my design here. So I need a piece of Velcro across here, okay? Now on my other side, it will have the other half of the Velcro. That way I can pull this over and clip it on, essentially. Why am I doing this way? Because we use these all the time, we love these, and if I ever want to change them out, it's simply un-Velcro, pull off the sleeve, make a new sleeve, pull it back on. Makes it real simple. But if you just want to finish this, figure out what your measurement is here. You can cut it, and then you can whip stitch it together. Really simple to do. You could even just run this right through your sewing machine. Obviously you'd have a line there, but that's up to you for what you guys are doing there. Got my Velcro, I got my soft side here. A little trick here to putting in Velcro is that if you find out where you like it, and you just know exactly where you like it, put it onto your project, put marks on your project, then take it off. Then you know exactly where you're gonna sew your Velcro in at the end here. So I want mine like this. Now, all I'm going to mark is a square around my Velcro. When I take this off and I need to put my Velcro in, I cut it to length based off my measurement here, and then I know exactly where to start it, I know exactly where to end it. It gives me all my measurements. And then for the other side, then we can look at that and make a decision based off what we're seeing. So let's pull this guy off. How I'm doing this is I'm turning it inside out on top of itself. You see there? That way I can then turn it right side back out. And it's a fluffy project, guys. It's batting. Just kind of goes with the territory. You snip it off. How I like to do it, personally, is I just tack down one side, pull it real taut, tack down the other side, but there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. I have enough fabric to work with here. This is not gonna be too difficult of a project to do. So that's just enough. So all that did was hold me in place. Now I'm gonna run it to this side here. Barely anything on this, guys. Just enough to hold yourself in place. So I've properly tacked this down both sides. It makes a perfect line now. It's just easier to mark. I'm going to give myself, this is a heat erasable pen. It makes sense for an ironing board. I'm going to give myself some markings all the way down the side of here. That way I know if I'm sewing straight and if my band's staying straight, as I'm sewing, of course. That way I'm going to start on one side, I'm going to sew all the way down, and then once that side's in straight, then I'm going to do it on the other side. Very simple, easy Velcro installation here. Now another reason why I love this method of ironing board is that if your cover gets dirty, you can wash it. It makes it really simple. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpick this end here. That way I can do some finish work on my project. Just to make it look a little bit more finished, I unpicked a little bit of this edge here. And all I'm going to do is fold this edge over itself, sew all the way down. And then I'm going to do the same to this side here. It just makes it so there's no raw edges showing. Is it essential? No, but it does make it have a nice finished look. So I'm going to do that right now, get it pretty straight here, and I'm going to do it to the other side as well. But let's start with this side. So guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold this side over, but it needs to be thick enough or wide enough. That way I can attach the other piece of my elastic onto this side, so that when I flip this whole thing over, it lands on my Velcro. So I'm going to just run my line across, move my brown out of the way here, so I can sew that on. Now to attach my Velcro, I'm going to pull my Velcro out. And really the only thing that matters at this point is that this and that line up with each other. I'm going to put it end to end here. That way I know where to cut my line. You know it's a perfect match at that point. Pull that off. Ooh. And we're going to stick it right back down on top of here. Now what I like to do, I just put in this temporary line here, right? And it's not perfectly straight or anything like that. One thing that I just like to do is I'm going to put this in like this, line it up with the other Velcro. I'm going to sew my Velcro in, and then I'll take out that temporary stitch, this one here, and then it will give it a really nice clean look with the Velcro. But it holds out of my way until then. So Velcro in, I have these ends, so it's time to flip this right back out, sew up those ends, that way it just looks finished. Okay guys, now you see here we have an open seam or like raw edge here. All I'm going to do is just barely fold this over, barely fold this over, tack it down on both top and bottom pieces here on both sides. That way I can then have the ability to flip this up over the top of the other one and Velcro it down. So It's just some cleanup work. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I think if you're gonna finish something, you might as well finish it. Nice. It's done. It's done. Let's get right on into the finished project. All of our seams should be hidden. On top of, we should have a beautiful board here. Cover the whole 9 yards. Get it started. Now, here's the last little piece here. I'm gonna pull this all the way tight. I gave myself extra here. Why? Because it gives you enough to pull it tight and slip it up underneath the board on the inside, like so. So I'm gonna just slide this all the way up underneath. And then this guy folds over the top, just like so, which gives us our finished ironing board. Now, this is a phenomenal project to have and a resource to fit your space. If you have a small space, make it smaller. If you have a massive space and you want an amazing top for it, this is the best way to do it. I love a double-sided board because if you need or you get something on the other side, you can just turn it over. It's like 2 for the price of 1. On top of, with the Velcro strapping, you can pop this thing off, wash it, and put it right back on, and it'll be as good as new. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.